Okay, let's jump in. Remember Harry Potter's second year. Things got pretty dark at Hogwarts. Students petrified. Those creepy messages on the walls.
Mm.
Just this real sense of dread.
It really was a year that shook Hogwarts to its core. And to get a better handle on it, we've looked at a few things. The Wikipedia page for Chamber of Secrets, naturally, but also this interesting paper from Index Copernicus Journals about Aragog's fear, and of course the book itself.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really, dig deep into what happened that year. What was the deal with the Chamber of Secrets? And who was behind all that terror?
Yeah, we want to trace how it all unfolded, looking at the clues, the misdirections, everything.
And it's interesting, isn't it? The unease starts even before he gets back to school.
Definitely, right from the beginning, at the Dursleys.
Oh, Privet Drive.
Yeah.
Harry's having just the worst summer. They've locked up his spell books, his wand, even his broomstick.
And Hedwig's caged up, can't even fly freely. It really shows you how much the Dursleys fear magic.
Mm-hmm. They're muggles, after all. No magic themselves. And, well, deeply uncomfortable with Harry having it is this huge gap between their world and his.
Yeah, and you have that whole history lurking in the background, too. Voldemort, the attack, the scar. It's always there.
Right. It's just when you think it can't get any worse for him.
Dobby arrives.
Dobby, popping up in his bedroom, totally frantic.
Uh-huh. Warning, Harry, don't go back to Hogwarts. Danger.
And his way of helping, well, it causes absolute mayhem. Remember that dinner party with the Masons? The
Oh,
pudding.
yeah. Dobby's actions there, making the pudding float and crash. It's kind of extreme, but it shows how serious he thinks the danger is. House
Yeah.
elf magic, right. And
Yeah.
that fierce loyalty, even if it's a bit misguided.
Totally. And then the rescue. Ron, Fred, and George turning up in that flying car.
That blue Ford Anglia, what a scene, pulling the bars off his window.
Imagine seeing that. That moment really must have cemented things with the Weasleys, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's not just getting him out of Privet Drive. It's like pulling him fully into the wizarding world, into their family, really.
Which brings us nicely to the Burrow.
The Burrow. Such a different world.
Exactly. Complete opposite of the Dursleys. It's chaotic, sure, but full of affection. Real warmth.
And Mr. Weasley's obsession with muggle stuff. Plugs, batteries.
It's so charming. And it kind of highlights those cultural differences, doesn't it? How isolated Harry was before.
Mm-hmm. But getting to Hogwarts that year wasn't exactly smooth sailing either.
No kidding. That whole flue powder incident
Right, ending up in Nocturne Alley instead of Dion Alley.
must have been terrifying. Stumbling into Borgin and Burke's, seeing those dark objects.
And overhearing Lucius Malfoy and Draco, that definitely plants some early seeds of unease, gives him a glimpse of the darker side.
Yeah, hints of what's coming. Then, thankfully, he finds Hagrid in Diagon Alley.
Hmm.
Bit of comfort there.
Until the Flourish and Bloss encounter.
Oh, God, Gilderoy Lockhart.
It's Gilderoy Lockhart, holding court, grabbing Harry for that ridiculous photo op. So embarrassing. And Lockhart's whole persona, it's just so over the top. What do you think the point of him was, character-wise?
Well, I mean, he immediately sets himself up as this larger-than-life figure, but you get the sense it's all surface, right? Maybe unreliable, kind of like wizarding celebrity culture gone wrong.
And then Mr. Weasley and Lucius Malfoy have that little spat.
Yeah, just a quick, tense moment, but it hints at those deeper conflicts, the prejudice bubbling under.
And then the actual journey to Hogwarts, or lack thereof.
The flying car again, because they missed the train.
Crashing it straight into the Whomping Willow.
Ouch. That must have hurt. And nearly got them expelled before term even properly started.
Right, that meeting with Snape afterward. Intense doesn't even cover it.
Snape must have been livid. Seeing Potter and Weasley turning up in a wrecked flying car, it just confirms his worst opinions of them, probably. Sets them up for a tough year from the get-go.
So, okay, they do finally make it to the welcoming feast. Things seem sort of normal for a minute.
And then the Howler arrives.
Yeah.
For Ron. Oh, the humiliation. His mum's voice, magically amplified, yelling at him in front of the entire Great Hall.
Yeah, a very, very public telling off about the car. Puts a bit of a damper on the start of term, doesn't it?
Definitely. And then comes Defense Against the Dark Arts class. With Lockhart.
First lesson, Cornish pixies.
Absolute chaos. Those things just went wild.
It really showed Lockhart up immediately, didn't it? All those books about his amazing feats, and he can't handle a few pixies. Not exactly reassuring.
Not at all. And around this time, we meet Colin Creevey.
Ah, Cullen, the eager first-year photographer.
Constantly trying to get a picture of Harry.
Yeah.
So enthusiastic, almost a bit. much.
Yeah, his hero worship is quite full on. It's an interesting contrast, actually, to this suspicion that starts swirling around Harry later.
Which brings us to the dueling club, a really key moment.
Lockhart tries to demonstrate, makes a mess of it, Snape steps in.
And Draco Malfoy conjures a snake right at Harry.
And then Harry? Well, he does something completely unexpected. He speaks to it.
In parcel tongue, without even realizing it.
Exactly, the language of snakes. And the reaction from everyone else, immediate fear, suspicion. Because, it's rare and famously linked to Slytherin and dark wizards.
That's the turning point, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Suddenly, people are looking at Harry differently.
And then, not long after, the first attack.
Filch's cat, Mrs. Norris, found hanging there, stiff, petrified.
And that message, written in what looks like blood, "The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware."
Chilling, just utterly chilling. Sends shockwaves through the whole school.
Absolutely. The legend becomes real. The chamber is open. There's an air, and they're targeting someone or something.
So Hermione naturally hits the books, tries to find out about the Chamber of Secrets.
But there's surprisingly little solid information, right? It's all legend, rumor, very vague details in Hogwarts. A history makes it even more mysterious and frightening.
And that fear starts to fester among the students. People get suspicious.
Yeah, like Ernie Macmillan, openly wondering if Harry is the heir because of the Parseltum.
Imagine being Harry, accused like that, when you're just as scared and confused as everyone else.
It shows how fear can lead people to jump to conclusions based on prejudice and, well, circumstantial stuff.
And then the attacks keep happening. Colin Creevey gets petrified.
The boy with the camera just wanted a picture.
And even nearly headless Nick, the Gryffindor ghost.
That was really disturbing. How can you petrify a ghost? It ramps up the fear factor massively, makes the monsters seem incredibly powerful.
The pressure on Harry must have been immense, these rumors that he's the heir of Slytherin.
Definitely. So what do? Harry, Ron, and Hermione decide they need answers.
The Polyjuice Potion plan.
Super risky, super difficult to brew, and sounds absolutely disgusting.
Right. Brewing it in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom for weeks. Using bits of people hair, usually to transform into them for an hour.
It shows how determined they are, though. Willing to break all those rules, take that risk to find out who's behind the attacks.
And it actually works. Well, mostly. Harry and Ron become Crabbe and Goyle.
Poor Hermione ends up with cat hair by mistake. Not her best moment.
No. But Harry and Ron manage to get into the Slytherin common room and talk to Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, posing as Crabbe and Goyle. And while Malfoy doesn't know who the heir is or where the chamber is, he dismisses it as just a story.
He reveals a lot about his own prejudices.
Yeah.
His hatred for Muggleborns.
Exactly. It reinforces the idea that the attacks are targeted, probably based on blood status. Even if Malfoy isn't the heir himself, his views are part of the problem.
Then, completely by chance, Harry finds that diary.
Tom Riddle's diary.
Yeah.
Just lying there in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom.
This feels like a huge turning point, this old, blank diary. But it writes back.
And it doesn't just write back, it can show Harry things, memories from the past.
Which is how he sees the chamber being opened 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And he sees Hagrid being blamed.
Right, a young Hagrid, accused by Tom Riddle himself of opening the chamber and setting a monster loose, and Hagrid gets expelled because of it.
It seems to confirm everything Hagrid believed about being framed.
Yeah, the memory makes Hagrid look guilty and Riddle look like the one who caught him. It's a very convincing piece of the past.
And Harry also sees Riddle getting a special award for services to the school for catching the supposed heir.
Paints Riddle as a model student, doesn't it? A hero, even. Makes it seem impossible that he could be involved now. It's incredibly clever misdirection from the diary.
But the attacks don't stop. Hermione gets petrified.
Finding Hermione like that, it must have been devastating for Harry and Ron.
And then things get even worse. Hagrid gets arrested.
Yeah. Cornelius Fudge and Lucius Malfoy turn up. The ministry gets involved. The governors put pressure on.
And Dumbledore is suspended as headmaster.
Yeah.
It feels like the adults are losing control completely.
It really does. But just as Hagrid's being led away, he manages to give Harry and Ron that one vital clue.
Follow the spiders.
Cryptic, but crucial. It sets them on their next very dangerous path.
So despite everything, despite being terrified, they do it. They follow the spiders into the Forbidden Forest.
Deep into the forest, where they meet Aragog.
Hagrid's giant spider friend. Or, well, Hagrid's friend, maybe not theirs.
Yeah.
And his whole enormous family. Nightmare fuel.
Absolutely terrifying encounter, but Aragog tells them something important. He's scared, too. Scared of the real monster in the castle.
An ancient creature, he calls it. He won't name it, he's too afraid.
But he does confirm Hagrid is innocent. Hagrid didn't open the chamber 50 years ago, and he's not involved now.
Which is huge for Harry and Ron. Clears Hagrid's name, at least for them.
Hmm.
But Aragog won't help them identify the actual monster.
No, in fact, his children try to eat them.
And they only escape thanks to.
The flying car again turns up out of nowhere, rescues them from the spider army. That car really earned its keep.
It really did. And it's after that whole ordeal, thinking about what Aragog said, what Hermione found, they finally put it together.
The monster is a basilisk.
A giant snake.
Yeah.
Kills with a direct look, petrifies with an indirect one through a reflection, or a camera lens, or a ghost.
It fits everything. The petrifications, Mrs. Norris seeing it in the water on the floor, Colin through his camera, Nick being a ghost.
And the voice Harry's been hearing. The hissing sound that no one else could hear.
It's parcel tongue. The basilisk moving through the pipes. And Harry can understand it because, well, we find that out later.
So, knowing it's a basilisk and knowing Parseltongue is involved, they figure out where the entrance must be.
Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, the place the diary was found, the place Myrtle died 50 years ago, it all connects. And you need Parseltongue to open it.
So they head there, but first they have to deal with Lockhart.
Who's planning to do a runner? They basically have to drag him along.
And under pressure, down near the entrance, he finally cracks. Admits everything was a lie, he stole other wizards' stories.
Total fraud. And then he tries to wipe their memories with Ron's broken wand.
Which backfires spectacularly. Hits him instead, wipes his own memory clean. Convenient, maybe?
Perhaps. Takes him out of the picture right before the final showdown. So Lockhart's incapacitated. Ron has to stay with him because of a rock fall.
And Harry has to go on alone. Down into the chamber itself.
Where he finds Ginny Weasley, unconscious, looking like she's dying.
And Tom Riddle's diary is there. And then Tom Riddle himself appears.
But not just as a memory. He's solidifying, getting stronger as Ginny gets weaker.
And he reveals the truth. He is the heir of Slytherin. He used Ginny, pouring his memories into her through the diary, controlling her, making her open the chamber, write the messages, set the basilisk on students.
It's a horrifying twist. The charming, helpful Tom Riddle from the diary was the villain all along, manipulating Ginny, draining her life force.
And then the final chilling piece of the puzzle, Tom Marvolo Riddle rearranges the letters of his name.
To spell, I am Lord Voldemort.
He's a younger version of Voldemort, preserved as a memory in that diary. Just, wow. Imagine Harry facing that revelation.
Realizing he's face-to-face with the teenage version of the Dark Lord who killed his parents. The cunning, the cruelty, it's all there already. A truly terrifying moment.
But Harry doesn't back down. And just when Riddle summons the basilisk, help arrives.
Fawkes, Dumbledore's phoenix, blinding the basilisk, crucially, and bringing the sorting hat.
And from the sorting hat, Harry pulls out the sword of Gryffindor.
An incredible moment, showing his true courage, his worthiness as a Gryffindor. He fights the basilisk, blinded but guided by Fawkes.
And manages to kill it with a sword, but not before getting bitten by one of its fangs.
He's dying from the venom, but Fawkes heals him with phoenix tears. Another miracle.
And while he's weak, poisoned, he realizes what he has to do. He takes the basilisk fang.
And stabs the diary with it.
Destroying Riddle. The memory explodes, vanishes. Ginny wakes up. Saved.
A desperate, brilliant move. Using the monster's own venom to destroy its master in a way. The diary, that piece of Voldemort's soul, is gone.
So they make it back up. Harry, Ron, Ginny, the memory-wiped Lockhart explain everything to Dumbledore, McGonagall, Mr. and Mrs. Weasley.
And Dumbledore connects the dots. Explains how Voldemort's attack on baby Harry didn't just leave a scar.
It transferred some of Voldemort's powers, including Parseltongue. That's why Harry could hear the basilisk and open the chamber. It wasn't because he was the heir.
A crucial clarification, and it deepens that strange connection between Harry and Voldemort.
And then, that brilliant little moment, Harry tricks Lucius Malfoy, who planted the diary on Ginny in the first place, into freeing Dobby.
Using a sock. Such a clever, simple trick. And Dobby's reaction? Pure joy. He's free and fiercely loyal to Harry from then on.
A really heartwarming end to that subplot. So, the year ends. Exams are canceled, thank goodness.
Big relief all around, I imagine.
Gryffindor wins the House Cup again. Everyone cheers when they hear Lockhart won't be back.
Yeah, his departure from the staff is probably the least mourned event of the year. A sense of relief, things returning to, well, Hogwarts' version of normal.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, what are the big takeaways from Harry's second year? We've got the whole mystery of the chamber, this ancient legend brought terrifyingly to life.
The sheer danger of the basilisk. The shocking truth about Tom Riddle being young Voldemort, and Harry's incredible bravery facing it all down.
And the themes running through it all, identity,
Hmm.
who you are versus who people think you are.
And choice, that's huge. The contrast between Harry and Riddle, both orphans, both parcel myths in a way, both facing challenges at Hogwarts, but the choices they make lead them down completely different paths.
Right. And the importance of friendship, loyalty. Harry could have done it alone. Ron and Hermione were vital.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought for you listening. Think about those clues scattered through the year, the voice in the walls, the spiders fleeing, Myrtle's history.
Yeah, if you were there, what little things might have clicked sooner, knowing what we know now? And how does seeing Voldemort as the ambitious, cruel, but charismatic Tom Riddle change how you see his later actions? Something to ponder if you revisit the story.